Homemaking on the Homestead, and I'm really excited. Today we are going to make challah. Challah is a Jewish bread that is typically made on the Sabbath, and it is so good. It has eggs in it, and it's slightly sweet, so it's just a really tasty bread. I plan to make some soup tonight, and I'm going to serve challah bread and soup. I hope that you guys give this recipe a try. It is a braided bread, and I have a video, which I'll talk about in a little bit, that shows you how to braid it in 6 strands, or you can braid it in 3, just like you would braid hair. So pretty simplistic, depends on how fancy you want to get. Anyway, let's start making some bread. To begin with, I have a 1/4 cup here of warm water. I'm going to take a teaspoon of the sugar from the overall measured amount, which is 1/3 cup, and just add that to kind of get the yeast activated. And I'm going to toss in my yeast and give it a little bit of a stir. I'm going to set that aside while I get the rest of the bread going. Into my mixer bowl, I am adding some more water. This is pretty much room temperature butter and some olive oil, my salt, and the sugar. I am now going to mix this up for just a little bit here. Most of the butter has already melted, so it's good. And now I'm going to add my eggs. And I brought my eggs up to room temperature. And now my yeast has definitely gotten nice and foamy, so I'm going to add that next. I am making this with some whole wheat and white. You could make it all whole wheat. It's just going to be a little denser, or you could make it all white. So I have just compromised by doing a little bit of both. I'm going to start by adding the wheat flour. And get that mixing up. And now the white flour. So far I've added 4 cups of flour, and the dough is still really sticky, so I'm going to go ahead and add another cup of the white flour. Flour amounts can vary depending on the types of flour you're using and the density of your flour. So the dough still feels just a tiny bit sticky, so maybe I will add another 1/2 cup, and then that'll probably be it. Because it's cleaned the sides of the bowl really nicely. There's no dough on that. And then I'm going to let the KitchenAid knead it for about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to use wheat flour for the last bit. Yeah, so maybe just a 1/4 cup. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I feel like it's kneaded for about 7 or 8 minutes, and so now we're going to move on to the next step. I am going to cover this and put it in a warm place and let it rise until it doubles in size. probably 45 minutes to an hour. At this point, it is time to divide the bread in half and make the challah loaves. I'm going to do one loaf in a 3-strand braid, and I will do the other loaf in a 6-strand braid. I have a video that shows you very much in detail how to do the 6-strand braid, so I'm not going to go into that, but I will link it below and link it somewhere up at the top here. So the first thing I'm going to do with my dough is begin by rolling it out into ropes. These 3 strands are about 12-13 inches long. I just measured them just so I could be able to tell you what they are. Now we're going to just lay them side by side, and I take the ends and I just kind of squish them together to hold them. And now, just like you would braid hair, we're going to braid these. Try to get them a little bit tight so you can get a few more braids out of it. When you get down to the end, do the same thing. Just pinch it, and I kind of tuck it under just so that pinched end doesn't really show. Okay. Yeah, I've done better braids, but that is good. And I'm going to lay them this direction. You could do it the other way. Okay, now we're going to work on the 6th braid. It's the same idea. You're going to cut the dough into 6 strands instead of 3. And I'm going to do the same thing with these. I'm just going to roll them out into 6 ropes. And they might be just maybe a little bit longer. And the best way to roll them out is to just get them into like a little bit of a log shape, and then just start rolling from the center, pushing outward towards the ends. Same idea, you're going to get the top started by pinching all the ends together. And here we go. And eventually you get to the bottom, and you just pinch those, and once again kind of tuck that under, tuck this one under, and that is what a 6 braid challah looks like. So I'm going to set that here on the tray next to my 3 braid, which has already started rising a bit. Move it over so we have space here. I'm going to let these rise in a warm place for probably a half hour or so until they kind of basically double up in size, and then we're going to bake them. And there you go, 2 freshly baked loaves of challah. You can freeze this bread as well, and of course enjoy it.